Hello sports fans, it is Monday, March the 18th, the year 2013, and as usual, a lot to get to in the sports world, so let's get it going right now. Hope you guys had a nice weekend, hope you had a great and safe St. Patrick's Day. March Madness is here, the brackets are out, we are ready to go. I'm not going to pick the games for you today, I'm going to need a day to digest all this, so I'm going to pick the games for you tomorrow. I'll run through the brackets real quick with you today, see who's playing who, but I won't pick the games until tomorrow. I need a day to digest all this. Before we do that, let's wrap up what went on over the weekend in the college basketball, conference championships. Let's start with the Big East at Madison Square Garden. Remember, this is the last time we're going to see the Big East tournament as we know it. All these teams going to different conferences. Syracuse leaving, Pitt leaving, UConn leaving. It's a shame they're breaking it up, but what can you do? Louisville had an impressive win over Syracuse. I mean, just a tremendous second half by Louisville. They're down 14 points with about 16 minutes to go, and they just blitzed Syracuse, outscoring by about 30 points the rest of the way. Syracuse didn't have a field goal for about 11 minutes in this game. What a tremendous win by Louisville. Louisville, one of the favorites, to get to the Final Four. They looked like a really solid team. Remember, Louisville was good last year. They almost beat Kentucky, and then Kentucky went on to win the national championship. This is basically the same Louisville team they had last year. They were good last year, even better this year. We know they're well coached with Rick Pitino. I was so impressed with Louisville over the weekend, beating Syracuse. So that was your Big East tournament. As far as your Big 12 tournament in Kansas City, Kansas beats Kansas State. What else is new? Kansas State just cannot beat Kansas. Kansas has their number. Kansas State is snake-bitten when they come to playing Kansas. And Kansas wins yet another Big 12 title. Over to your ACC in Greensboro. The Miami Hurricanes beat North Carolina. Miami continues their unbelievable season. They win the regular season ACC title, and they come back and win the tournament in front of a pro-North Carolina crowd. That was all powder blue there the other day, and it didn't matter. Miami gets the job done. Really, really nice year by the Miami Hurricanes. Jim Larinaga's got to be up for Coach of the Year. Over to your Big Ten in Chicago. Ohio State beat Wisconsin. Ohio State is starting to peak at the right time. They were struggling back in February. Then they had that huge win at Indiana, and they have been flying ever since. They take the Big Ten title in Chicago. Over to your Atlantic 10 in Brooklyn. St. Louis beats Virginia Commonwealth. I said at the beginning of the year St. Louis was going to be a surprise team. They have exceeded my expectations. They're even better than what I thought. They get the job done here. In your SEC tournament in Nashville, Ole Miss beats Florida. Florida was in complete control of this game. Ole Miss comes flying back. Ole Miss was a bubble team coming into this tournament. They win the tournament, they get the automatic bid, and their fans, coaches, and players were ecstatic. Ole Miss has not had a lot to cheer about in college basketball, so they were ecstatic they got this win over Florida. In your Mountain West Conference tournament in Vegas, New Mexico beat UNLV. New Mexico is a solid team, beat UNLV, and that tournament is played on UNLV's home floor, so nice win by New Mexico. And in your Pac-12 tournament, also in Vegas, Oregon beat UCLA. Oregon was playing great at the beginning of the year, lost their guard Artis, then they started to struggle without him. Now they've gotten him back. They're playing much better with him. Oregon really playing well at the end of the year. And UCLA, they were starting to, get their mojo together. They lose here, and not only that, they lose one of their key players for the rest of the year, so that's a big loss for UCLA. I don't like them going forward with that key injury. Okay, so that was some of your conference tournaments over the weekend. I enjoy the conference tournaments. Those teams really slug it out. I really enjoy the conference tournaments. Let's run through the NCAA brackets real quick. I'm not going to pick the games for you today. I'm going to pick them tomorrow. I need a day to digest this. All right, your 4 number 1 seeds, Indiana, Louisville, Kansas, and Gonzaga. Not too much of a surprise. I thought Miami might get a number 1 seed considering they won the ACC regular season title and the tournament. They left them on the 2 line. Hey, you can't complain too much. You can't argue with these 4 number 1 seeds. Here are your brackets. Here's the 4 playing games. The 4 playing games are Tuesday and Wednesday in Dayton. I don't love the playing games, but we're going to have to live with them. I could do without them. Here are your 4 playing games. North Carolina A&T against Liberty, Middle Tennessee against St. Mary's, LIU against James Madison, and Boise State against LaSalle. Those are your 4 playing games Tuesday and Wednesday before we get to the tournament on Thursday. All right, let's start in the Midwest. Let's start with your number 1 seed. Louisville is your number 1 seed. They will play the 16 seed. That is the winner of North Carolina A&T and Liberty. Your 8-9 matchup in the Midwest, Colorado State against Missouri. Very interesting game. Missouri's been disappointing this year. Colorado State's been a big surprise. Over to your 5-12 matchup, Oklahoma State against Oregon. What a nice game that is. 5-12 matchup, very nice game. Oregon should not be a 12 seed. They should be higher than that. They seeded him 12 because they struggled without August when he went out for a while in the regular season. He's back, though, and they just won the Pac-12 tournament. How are they at 12? They should be higher than that. So the Oregon got a very, very bad seed there. The number 4-13 matchup, St. Louis against New Mexico State. St. Louis is a really, really solid team. Bottom half of the Midwest, you have Memphis against the winner of Mount St. Mary's. St. Mary's against Middle Tennessee State. So you got that game there. Memphis against, let me say that again, Memphis against Middle Tennessee State, St. Mary's winner. I'll get it together. There we go. So that's the game there. That's the 6-11 game. Number 3-14, you have Michigan State against Valparaiso. Tom Izzo does a great job in the tournament all the time with Michigan State. 7-10 matchup, you have Creighton against Cincinnati. Creighton is a high-flying team. They shoot the ball really well. Cincinnati's a grinded-out type team. Your 2-15 matchup, Duke against Albany. That is your Midwest bracket. To me, the Midwest bracket is the toughest bracket. I would say the Midwest is the toughest. Second is the South. Third is the East. And the West is probably the worst of the brackets. All right, so that's your Midwest bracket. As far as your West, number 1 16 matchup, you have Gonzaga against Southern. 8-9 matchup, Pittsburgh against Wichita State. 5-12 matchup, Wisconsin against Mississippi. 4-13 matchup, Kansas State against the winner of Boise or LaSalle. Bottom half of that bracket, you have Arizona against Belmont. Belmont can really shoot the 3. Number 3-14, New Mexico against Harvard. 7-10 matchup, very interesting game. Notre Dame against Iowa State. Number 2-15, Ohio State against Iona. That is your West bracket. I would say that is the weakest of the 4 brackets. Over to your South, you have the 1-16 matchup, Kansas against Western Kentucky. 8-9, very nice game. North Carolina, Villanova, very nice game there. 5-12, VCU, Akron. 4-13, Michigan against the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. I love that name. Bottom half of the South bracket, UCLA against Minnesota. That is your 6-11 matchup. 3-14 is Florida Northwest State. 7-10 matchup, San Diego State against Oklahoma. And your 2-15 matchup, Georgia against Florida Gulf Coast. That is your South. I would say the South is probably the second hardest. I would definitely say the Midwest is your toughest bracket. South and the East are battling for 2 and 3, and your worst bracket is definitely the West at 4. Here is your East bracket. The 1-16 matchup is Indiana against the LIU Brooklyn James Madison winner. 8-9 matchup, very nice game. NC State against Temple. Your 5-12 matchup, UNLV against California. They've played already this year. Very nice game. That game's in San Jose, by the way. Should be an advantage for Cal. Number 4-13, Syracuse against Montana. The bottom half of that bracket, 6-11, you have Butler against Bucknell. Very interesting game. You know, Butler is your surprise team all the time in this tournament. Bucknell could turn the tables on him here. Bucknell's got a really solid team. 3-14 matchup, Marquette against Davidson. 7-10 matchup, Illinois against Colorado. And 2-15 matchup, Miami against Pacific. So those are your matchups. We're going to pick all the games tomorrow. Like I said, I think the Midwest is the toughest bracket. The West is the worst, and the South and East are 2 and 3. You could debate that all you want, but I definitely think the Midwest is the powerhouse bracket. West is the weakest for sure. So that's kind of where you are. We'll pick all the games tomorrow. We'll go through them all in depth tomorrow. We have some time. We'll go through all the games tomorrow. As far as some teams that are left out of the NCAA that were on the bubble, Southern Miss, Virginia, Maryland, Tennessee, Iowa, Baylor, Kentucky, Alabama, those teams all did not make it. They didn't have great road wins, didn't have great strength of schedule, so those teams were left out of the tournament. Without further ado, let's go over to some other stuff that went on over the weekend. Let's go to our NBA, where the Lakers went into Indiana and beat the Pacers, and then they beat Sacramento last night. This was without Kobe Bryant. Remember, Kobe Bryant's been out with the ankle injury. Remember, they still don't have Gasol. Kobe also has the flu. Lakers, I was really impressed. They went into Indiana and beat the Pacers. Pacers are a really good home team. No Kobe, no Gasol, and they still go in there and beat the Pacers. Very nice job by the Lakers. They're battling with Utah and Houston, Golden State for that last playoff spot. Lakers are playing better. Kobe is day-to-day. Gasol should be back in about a week. Miami continues to get it done. They win their 21st and 22nd game on this winning streak. They beat Milwaukee, then followed that up and beat Toronto. They have now tied the longest winning streak in history. They tie the Rockets. They're about 11 behind the Lakers for the all-time mark. I don't think they're going to get there, but what a job the Heat are doing. Denver beats Memphis. Chicago routs Golden State. Then Utah beat Memphis. Memphis has dropped a couple in a row. The Clippers yesterday beat the Knicks. Knicks, all sorts of injuries. I mean, Carmelo out, Chandler out, Stoudemire out. Very dangerous time for the Knicks. Also last night, Atlanta beats Brooklyn. I mean, what is going on with Brooklyn? They can beat the bad teams. They can't seem to beat a good team. And Golden State beat Houston by 30. I mean, come on, Houston. You're on your home floor. You're battling for that last spot. You're playing Golden State, who hasn't been playing well. You lose by 30 on your home floor. That was a bad loss by Houston last night. Over to your NHL on Friday, Philadelphia beat the Devils. The Devils desperately need Brodeur back. On Saturday, the Penguins shut out the Rangers. Penguins are flying. Rangers still stumbling. Detroit beat Vancouver. St. Louis beat Anaheim. Montreal beat the Devils. Montreal's on absolute fire. And the Islanders beat Florida. The Islanders are close to getting into a playoff spot. I told you the Islanders were improved this year. Chicago bombed Dallas. And yesterday, Pittsburgh at home beat Boston. Pittsburgh is flying. Beat Boston twice this week, and they don't even have Malkin back. Pittsburgh is on absolute fire. So that's some of your stuff in the NBA and your NHL. The World Baseball Classic, unfortunately, Puerto Rico beat the United States. The United States eliminated. David Wright went out with a rib injury. You know, once he went out, that was going to be a loss for the U.S. Nice job by Puerto Rico. Not only do they beat the United States, I mean, then they come back last night and beat Japan. Puerto Rico is in the title game. They will play the winner of the Dominican Republic and the Netherlands, who play tonight. I never thought Puerto Rico was going to make the finals. Imagine if you get a Puerto Rico-Netherlands final. Whoever thought that? I think Dominican Republic is going to win not only tonight, but in the championship game as well. Dominican Republic looks like the best team to me. I did catch some boxing in California over the weekend. Timothy Bradley won a decision against a really tough Russian fighter. Very nice fight. Bradley was really lucky to get out of this fight. He goes down in the last round, but he does get up. Then the bell rings. He wins a unanimous decision. Bradley was in all kinds of trouble against this Russian fighter, but Bradley survives, hangs on, wins the decision. Also on the other card, Vargas won. That was another tough, close fight. So you had some decent boxing over the weekend. As far as some tennis over the weekend, Rafael Nadal beats Del Potro. It's amazing. Nadal hasn't played in like a year. He still comes back and wins another nice tournament. It's amazing. The same guys win in tennis all the time. Over on the women's side, Sharapova beats Wozniacki. Wozniacki, she was ranked number one. She's not a great player at all, so Sharapova wins there. To me, you need some new blood on both the women's and the men's side in tennis, especially on the men's side. As far as some news and notes in the NFL, Steven Jackson signs with the Falcons. That's a very nice pickup for the Falcons. Jennings signs with the Vikings. Very nice pickup for the Vikings. They take him away from Green Bay. Nice job there. And what's with Doomerville with the whole Denver Broncos situation? Very strange situation there. He was renegotiating his contract, but they didn't get the paperwork in on time, so the Broncos had to release him. Now there's all sorts of red tape. Is he going to go back to the Broncos? Does he go to another team? Doomerville's a good player, too, so what in the world was going on there with the Broncos and Doomerville? You can't get the paperwork in on time? Very strange. So that was kind of some of the stuff that went on over the weekend. You guys are pretty much caught up. As far as tonight, what to watch, I said in the World Baseball Classic, you have the Dominican Republic against the Netherlands. The winner plays Puerto Rico tomorrow. As far as your NBA tonight, you have the Knicks at Utah, Lakers at Suns, Miami at Boston. See if Miami can keep their winning streak alive. Kevin Garnett questionable in that game. Denver at Chicago, Dallas at Atlanta. NHL, you have the Capitals and the Rangers. Phoenix and Los Angeles, Minnesota and Vancouver, and Chicago at Colorado. Excuse me, the Rangers are not playing Washington. They are playing Carolina at home. Rangers, Carolina in Madison Square Garden. Okay, so you guys are all caught up tomorrow. Big day for you. We're going to go through all the brackets, pick all the games, little breakdown, why I like each game, and we're going to give you our final 4 picks. We'll go through each bracket, each round. We'll tell you who's playing who, what round, who I like, all that kind of stuff. We're going to do that tomorrow. So definitely tune in tomorrow. We're going to go through the whole bracket tomorrow. You guys, thanks for tuning in. Stay safe. I will talk to you tomorrow. Enjoy the games tonight. Take care.